It's your boy James with the Stop Being Dirty. Stop it, Danny Myers. Oh my God. We out here in nature. God's free therapy. Nature heals, man. Shit, I ain't mad at it. I'm getting rained on just doing this video right now. It wouldn't be joy if it wasn't for pain. It wouldn't be sun if it wasn't for rain. I embrace it all, and I think we all should. But to get into this blog right now, we all know what's going on with Danny Myers and KO, whatever the dude's name is. Basically, they had a fallout in which, Danny's saying this guy had access to his DMs and he's messaging people after he has a fantasy football league under his name, and he trusted him to have he has his account information, he has his DM information, his Instagram information, and that's why, this guy's acting like he's Danny, he's hollering at chicks and da-da-da. That's Danny's part of the story. This guy's like, bro, what are you talking about? I might have that access, but I ain't do all that with your claiming. That was you who did that. And matter of fact, you put a smart on my name. Let me start putting your business out there. Then he exposes the fact that he has proven emails that Danny sent around to Miss Hustle, a ghostwritten round to give Miss Hustle the rap to official. Now, that's crazy in itself, but moving forward, Miss Hustle never used the round. So she was given the round, she never used the round. You can make the judgment on how you feel about that off of that information, right? Also, Official comes out and she says she knew about Danny writing for Hustle because Danny not only told Official that he wrote the round for Hustle to Official, but he rapped the round that he wrote for Hustle to Official. So Danny Myers, this is mad dirty. I mean, yikes. Seriously, yikes. So now the situation is Danny's not looking so great in it from this part alone, because it's like, and I'll tell you why, because my opinion is different from others. At the end of the day, bro, I believe in people's patterns. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's done some whack shit. I've been there, you've been there, she's been there, he's been there. But if you have a pattern of doing certain whack shit or good shit, a pattern, right? Because a lot of times we judge people on the framework of reality. This has a lot to do with relationships too. You be making every excuse to stay in your relationship, even though it's shit. You make every excuse like, yeah, she does this and does that, but the good times. You hold on to the good times, but no, believe the patterns. Believe the higher percentage of how someone acts and judge them off of being that. Everybody makes mistakes, but if you mistake after mistake after mistake, it's no longer a mistake. It is a choice. I say all that to say this. The pattern of Danny Myers is an unfortunate one. Let's bring it back to T-Rex. Danny Myers pays $12,000 to T-Rex. One when Danny was talking, and T-Rex ended up running off with the bread. The battle never went down the way it was supposed to. Now, eventually, later down the line, it ends up getting booked on URL. However, that happened. What happened? All I know is it was $12,000 paid for someone that Danny had contact with every day, texting every day, conversating with every day, befriended, and got backstabbed. Moving forward, you have a situation with Danny Myers as a whole in battle rap. As a whole in battle rap. One of the most talented but underrated, underappreciated talents battle rap mind has ever seen. Someone of that high caliber that doesn't get his just due. It's pretty rare for someone to be as good as Danny, but doesn't get the love he deserves. So you have this pattern in which what I just said is the kind of the person Danny's been treated as, seen as, and himself seen as. Moving forward, John the Don does him dirty on payment, not once, but twice. But why? He's cool with John. He gets booked. He doesn't get the money in the timely fashion in which he's supposed to. Basically, done dirty on his back end. Then forgives John. And then John comes again and does it again to him. You see the pattern of what happens to Danny Myers? The T-Rex situation. Trust a person, does him dirty. Battle rap. doesn't appreciate him, gives his all to this shit, battles more than he's probably somewhere battling right now. And I know Danny's out there stressed because he was doing blogs and interviews with Battle Facts, Slew Battle Facts. He's in the car with no shirt. Bro, you know how stressed in life you got to be shirtless in your car? The stress levels is off the meter charts of stress. Shirtless in the whip is nasty work. Then you have a situation with him ghostwriting. Please pay attention to the point I'm making here. You have to put all this together just like I did on this 4-hour drive it took me to come up to this property, bro. My property is 2.5 hours out of the city. Took me 4.5 hours to get here today. The traffic, ridiculous, floods and all that. I'm standing in the rain right now doing this blog. It's all good. Like I said, it wouldn't be joy if it wasn't for pain. It wouldn't be sun if it wasn't for rain. Embrace it all. Be happy you woke up today alive. A lot of people you love don't have that opportunity. They don't have that luxury. You have a luxury. Stop wasting it. Back to the blog, though. What kind of... He said... Do you know why he gave Miss Hustle this round? He said he heard Official had a ghostwriter. He heard someone is writing for Official against Miss Hustle. So he goes and hits Miss Hustle up, his friend, as he sees Miss Hustle, and writes her around. That's his reason, his excuse, whatever it might be. I believe it. Do you know why? Because if Miss Hustle really wanted him to ghostwrite for him, she would have used the round, bought the round, used what she paid for, etc., etc., etc. Even though the kind of personality where I'm breaking down Danny to be, he probably would do it for free. He says, yo, hey, Miss Hustle, I heard you. Someone's about to use a ghostwriter against you here. Let me write a round for you because I know the guy who's writing for her. Now go to the guy who he's having the beef with right now that exposed all this. A person that had a bad track record prior who claimed that Beasley paid him money to not blog on RBE, which gets exposed to be a complete lie. So he already has a big stain on his jacket, but I'm not here to talk about that person. I'm here to talk about the abuse and the bad treatment that Danny keeps accepting in his life. Another situation that blows up in Danny's face. John, T-Rex, this one currently, battle rap as a whole, maybe other things. Why he was in different. Wasn't Danny like in this group and then that group, right? Isn't that something that he does also? Danny, the issue you're having is beyond what's people doing to you. It's what you're accepting, what you're allowing. Because when we think lesser than of ourselves, we try to befriend where we shouldn't be looking for friendship. We're looking for love where there is no love. We're looking for acceptance because we haven't accepted ourselves for our happiness by yourself. Claude, as cliche as you are, you'll never be happy with someone else unless you're happy with yourself. You cannot build a house with broken tools. It's just like getting out of a bad breakup. You can't get over someone by getting under someone. And it might feel good when you're young. I've been there. You're heartbroken. Girl, do you dirty. Whatever the case is, you go out there, smash a bunch of chicks, and you feel lonelier than ever. Because it ain't about the girl you get in your bed. It's about the girl you don't want to leave your bed. Because if you're not happy with yourself, you're just going to feel more lonely, more alone when that person walks out because you're pouring yourself into an empty vessel. And this is what's going on with Danny, and I feel for him. Now, this might be a different take, but this is the Stop Being Dirty channel. This is your boy Jim's talking to you. This is Jimmy right now. Because I've seen it before. A person who keeps, look at this, he's a good-hearted guy. I'm not saying he don't make mistakes. I'm not here waving a flag for him. I'm saying the patterns tell me that you looking for love in all the wrong places. You looking for acceptance in all the wrong places when you need to look in the mirror and understand that you the shit. Because you were created that way. You the shit. You out here looking for, like friends wherever they could be, even though you know this guy had a, now don't get me wrong. I've befriended people who's done me wrong before. So don't ever let bad situations change the dope person that you are, but you got to learn from them. Why? John didn't deserve forgiveness after doing it twice. Rex. This guy, he moving funny with, now look how he treating you. And it's a track record of mistreatment because you're accepting it. You get what you accept in this world. You need to set the boundaries for your life on what you're not going to put up with. Because you can't walk around this motherfucker talking about, why does someone treat me like this? I hate that people say that. Why are you allowing that? Why are you, and I'm not saying to go out there and do something to these people. I'm saying for yourself. You cannot accept this mistreatment, and you wouldn't if you've seen more of yourself. You would know what you deserve, so you would know what to not put up with. And at the end of the day, man, this is my take on it. And I feel like a lot of us go through these mishaps. He keeps putting himself in these situations where he's blinded by acceptance from this person, from that person, whether it's a league, whether it's a fan, whether it's an artist. And it's misguided when really you have the greatest blessing you could have is being a father, and you did that 12 times, 10 times. But you need to find that love within you, homie, because you're going to keep falling into these traps of people who's mistreating you. And mistreating you till you crash out. You're going to make people crash out when you can just understand and wake up and understand that you the shit, that you made accomplishments, that you don't have nothing to prove except to the man in the mirror. And if you're not comfortable with that person, this is going to continue happening to you. Nature heals. Get out there, man, and understand that you the shit. And stop letting this world, this goes to everybody, stop letting this world make you think lesser than of yourself. We looking for love for people who don't even love themselves. We looking for trust for people who don't know how to be faithful. We looking for kindness for people who has a bad heart. Don't ever stop being your badass self, but you have to live and you have to learn from these mistakes and from these people. And if you don't break the cycle, it'll never end. If you woke up with air in your lungs today, that means God didn't give up on you. Protect your peace. If it's not bringing you peace, then peace. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stop being dirty with